For 30 long years, Albert Einstein poured his heart and soul into something they said he never finished. Or at least, that's the version of the story they told us. The official narrative? Einstein supposedly spent the last 3 decades of his life relentlessly pursuing a unified field theory, a groundbreaking mathematical framework, one that could elegantly unite gravity, electromagnetism, and all the fundamental forces of nature into a single, breathtaking equation. They claim he failed miserably, that he squandered those precious years chasing an impossible dream. They insist he found absolutely nothing. But what if? They lied. What if Einstein actually discovered exactly what he was searching for? What if the equations he painstakingly crafted revealed something so profound, so utterly terrifying to the established order, that he was forced to make a monumental choice, a choice to conceal his findings, rather than shatter everything humanity thought it knew about the very nature of reality? Today, I'm going to unveil what Einstein actually discovered, not the sanitized, watered-down version they spoon-feed in universities, not the incomplete, deceptive story they desperately want you to believe, but the raw, unfiltered truth that was buried alongside him in 1955, the mathematical proof that irrevocably changed everything he believed about God. Stick around until the very end, because what you're about to learn has been deliberately hidden for nearly 70 years, and there's a very specific reason why. The public Einstein versus the private Einstein. Before we dive headfirst into the discovery itself, you need to grasp something crucial. The Einstein you think you know is a carefully constructed image. The wild-haired genius playfully sticking out his tongue. The friendly, approachable professor explaining relativity with trains and flashlights. That Einstein was meticulously crafted, designed for public consumption. The private Einstein was a completely different story. In his personal letters, scrawled in his private notebooks, and whispered in hushed conversations with close colleagues, Einstein revealed beliefs that would have sent shockwaves through the scientific establishment of his time and ours. Back in 1930, Einstein penned an essay titled Religion and Science. In it, he eloquently described what he called the cosmic religious feeling. He passionately wrote that this feeling is the strongest and noblest motive for scientific research. He boldly stated that only those who have wholeheartedly devoted their lives to science can truly comprehend what drives a person to dedicate decades to a single, seemingly insurmountable problem. Despite countless failures, Einstein was implicitly describing himself. He was revealing what relentlessly drove him to tirelessly work on the unified field theory for 30 long years. It wasn't merely academic curiosity. It wasn't some shallow desire for another Nobel Prize. It was something far deeper, something he called cosmic religious feeling. But what exactly was he feeling? What had he sensed lurking within the mathematics that compelled him to dedicate his final decades to relentlessly pursue it? The answer lies in what he actually discovered, and the devastating reason why he chose to keep it shrouded in secrecy: the unified field theory quest. To fully comprehend what Einstein ultimately found, you first need to understand precisely what he was searching for. In 1915, Einstein triumphantly completed his general theory of relativity. It elegantly described gravity, not as a mere force, but as the very curvature of space and time, meticulously caused by mass and energy. It was revolutionary. It was breathtakingly beautiful. And yet, Einstein firmly believed it was fundamentally incomplete because general relativity only tackled gravity. It remained silent about electromagnetism, the powerful force that governs light, electricity, and magnetism. Einstein became utterly convinced that these forces must be interconnected at some far deeper level, that there must exist one single, unified set of equations that could describe everything, a theory of everything, a unified field. For 30 long years, He wrestled with this problem, filling paper after paper with countless equations. Most were never even published, and those that did see the light of day were swiftly dismissed by the scientific community as utter dead ends. And here is where the official story begins to unravel, to seem increasingly suspicious. Einstein was no fool. He was arguably the greatest physicist who ever lived, the very man who fundamentally revolutionized our understanding of space, time, matter, and energy. Are we really supposed to believe that he spent 30 years accomplishing absolutely nothing? Look closely at the pattern. Einstein publishes seemingly partial results. The scientific community swiftly dismisses them. Einstein abruptly goes quiet. He retreats, engaging in more work in private. Occasional publications surface that appear to lead absolutely nowhere. Then, complete silence. What if those publications that appeared to lead nowhere were deliberately misleading? What if Einstein was meticulously concealing his real progress by strategically burying it within a labyrinth of mathematical dead ends? There's mounting evidence that this is precisely what happened, what Einstein actually found. In his private letters, Einstein made some astonishing statements that directly contradict the official narrative of utter failure. In 1949, he wrote to his lifelong friend, Maurice Solovine. He declared that he was convinced that we can discover by means of purely mathematical constructions the concepts and the laws connecting them with each other. He passionately believed that nature is simply the realization of the simplest conceivable mathematical ideas. Read that again, very carefully. Einstein believed that mathematics doesn't merely describe nature. Mathematics fundamentally is nature. The equations are not simply approximations of reality. They are reality itself. This wasn't just idle philosophical musing. This was the profound conclusion of 30 years of relentless work. Einstein had discovered something extraordinary lurking within the equations, something that revealed to him that the universe wasn't just orderly, it was fundamentally, mathematically designed. In another revealing letter, Einstein described God, not the personal God of organized religion, but what he powerfully called Spinoza's God, the God who reveals himself in the orderly harmony of what exists. The Dutch philosopher Baruch Spinoza had famously argued that God and nature are intrinsically one and the same, that the very laws of nature are God. That to study physics is to study the very mind of the Creator. Einstein explicitly stated that he believed this profoundly, and his relentless unified field theory work had ultimately shown him why, the mathematical proof. And here is where things become truly dangerous. Here is where we venture into territory that established institutions actively want to keep shrouded in darkness. Einstein's unified field theory relentlessly sought to describe gravity and electromagnetism as merely different facets of the same underlying geometry. If he succeeded, it would definitively mean that all forces, all particles, all phenomena throughout the entire universe ultimately emerge from the very structure of space and time itself. Just think about the mind-blowing implications of that. If the universe is fundamentally pure geometry, if matter and energy are simply patterns woven into the very fabric of space-time, then the universe is essentially mathematical. It's not merely a physical thing that happens to follow mathematical laws. It fundamentally is mathematical laws made manifest. And here is the undeniable proof of God that Einstein painstakingly found. Mathematics is not arbitrary. You cannot simply choose what 2 plus 2 equals. You cannot arbitrarily decide that parallel lines should suddenly meet. Mathematical truths are necessary truths. They exist independently of the physical universe. They would hold true, even if nothing physical existed at all. So, if the universe is mathematics, if physical reality is fundamentally mathematical structure made manifest, then something undeniable existed before the physical universe itself. The eternal mathematical laws themselves. The eternal, necessary, unchanging truths upon which the entire universe is built. Einstein called this Spinoza's God, the eternal mathematical order that underlies all of existence. But he went further. In his work on the unified field theory, he became convinced that this mathematical order wasn't just any mathematics. It was the simplest possible mathematics, the most elegant solution to the question of existence. As he wrote, "Nature is the realization of the simplest conceivable mathematical ideas. The universe is not random. It is not arbitrary. It is not one possibility among many. It is the mathematically necessary outcome of eternal logical truths. This is the proof Einstein found. And this is why he could not publish it, why it had to be hidden. Imagine Einstein publishing a paper that concluded, the universe is the manifestation of eternal mathematical truths. That physical reality emerges from a deeper logical order, that this order can be called Spinoza's God. What would happen? Religious institutions would reject it, because Einstein's God was not their God. There was no personal deity, no answered prayers, no miracles, no chosen people, just eternal mathematics. Scientific institutions would reject it because it sounded like religion. It violated the unwritten rule that science must not provide evidence for anything that could be called God. Even if that God was simply mathematical order, Einstein would be attacked from all sides. His scientific legacy would be questioned. His work dismissed as the delusions of an old man who had gone soft on religion. And something else would happen, something more dangerous. If people understood that the universe is mathematically designed, they might start asking who or what created that design. They might start looking for meaning and purpose in existence. They might start questioning the materialist worldview that treats humans as accidents in an indifferent cosmos. The implications were too vast, too destabilizing, too threatening to those who benefit from a world without meaning. So Einstein made a choice. He would keep working. He would keep searching, but he would not publish what he had truly found. He would leave clues in his letters. He would make statements about Spinoza's God that sounded like philosophical preference, but the mathematical proof itself would die with him. Or would it? The papers that survived. After Einstein died in 1955, his personal papers were examined. Most of his unified field theory work was deemed incomplete or unsuccessful. But some things did not add up. There were missing pages, gaps in the calculations, references to results that did not appear in any known manuscript. His secretary, Helen Davies, spent decades organizing and protecting his papers. She was fiercely loyal to Einstein's wishes, and Einstein had made certain requests before he died, requests about what should and should not be made public. We know this because of what happened to his brain, against his family's wishes. The pathologist who performed Einstein's autopsy kept his brain. He claimed it was for scientific study, but Einstein had specifically requested to be cremated completely. Someone overrode his wishes. If they overrode his wishes about his body, what else might they have done? What else might they have hidden, or destroyed, or classified? In the decades since his death, fragments have emerged. Letters that hint at more than was publicly known, statements from colleagues who knew what he was working on, and most intriguingly, connections to other scientists who seemed to be exploring similar territory. David Peterson was a close associate of Einstein in the 1950s. After Einstein died, Peterson proposed what he called the implicate order, a deeper layer of reality from which the visible universe unfolds, matter and consciousness. Peterson argued, were not separate. They were different expressions of the same fundamental reality. This sounds remarkably similar to what Einstein believed, that the universe emerges from a deeper mathematical order. That consciousness might somehow be woven into the fabric of existence itself. Peterson was never able to publish a complete theory. He faced professional obstacles throughout his career. Some say he was deliberately marginalized because his ideas were too dangerous. The pattern repeats. Scientists who approach the mathematical foundations of reality, who begin to see design where others see randomness, who start speaking in terms that sound almost spiritual. These scientists tend to face resistance. Their work tends to remain incomplete. Their discoveries tend to stay hidden. Einstein knew this would happen. That is why he was so careful about what he published. That is why the real discoveries remained private. But the truth has a way of surfacing. And that is what is happening now. The evidence for design. Let me show you what modern physics has uncovered. Evidence that supports everything Einstein believed about the mathematical nature of reality. In the decades since Einstein's death, physicists have discovered something extraordinary. The fundamental constants of the universe are fine-tuned to an almost impossible degree. The strength of gravity, the mass of the electron, the charge of the proton, the speed of light. These values seem arbitrary, but they are not. If any of them were different by even a tiny fraction, the universe could not exist as we know it. Stars could not form. Chemistry could not work. Life would be impossible. The odds of these values occurring by chance are essentially zero. There are roughly 30 fundamental constants that must have specific values for a universe like ours to exist. The probability of all of them randomly falling into the necessary range is 1 in 10 to the power of a number with hundreds of zeros. This is not speculation. This is physics. These numbers have been measured with extreme precision. The fine-tuning is real. How do mainstream scientists explain this? They propose the multiverse theory. They say there are infinite universes with every possible combination of constants. We happen to be in one where the values support life. It is not design. It is just probability across infinite trials. But think about what they are really saying. To avoid admitting the universe looks designed, they are inventing an infinite number of unobservable universes. They are creating an untestable theory to explain away evidence that points towards something they do not want to accept. Einstein would have seen right through this. He believed nature is the realization of the simplest conceivable mathematical ideas. The multiverse is the opposite of simple. It is the most complex possible explanation. An infinity of infinities, all to avoid the obvious conclusion. The universe is fine-tuned because it is designed, not designed by a personal God who answers prayers, but designed in the sense that it emerges from eternal mathematical truths that could not be otherwise. Einstein knew this. He found it in his equations. And he chose not to tell us directly, perhaps because he knew we wouldn't be ready to hear it. What this means for you. If you're still watching, you're part of a small group. Most people clicked away when this started to challenge their worldview. Most people prefer comfortable lies to uncomfortable truths. You are different. You want to know, even when knowing is difficult. So, let me tell you what Einstein's hidden proof actually means for your life. If the universe is mathematical design, rather than random accident, then everything changes. You are not a meaningless collection of atoms that briefly assembled before dispersing back into chaos. You are a necessary part of a mathematically coherent whole. Your existence is not accidental. It is required by the logic of the universe itself. The suffering you experience is not pointless. In a designed universe, nothing is pointless. Every experience contributes to a pattern, too vast for any individual to see completely, but the pattern is real. The consciousness you possess is not an illusion. In Einstein's understanding, consciousness is fundamental to reality, the observer effect in quantum mechanics, which Einstein helped discover, suggests that consciousness plays a role in how reality manifests. You are not just observing the universe, you are participating in its ongoing creation. Death is not the end. If reality is ultimately mathematical, then information cannot be destroyed. The pattern that is you existed before your body and will exist after your body returns to the elements. Einstein said as much to the family of his friend Michel Besso when Besso passed away. He wrote that for physicists who understand time, the distinction between past, present, and future is only an illusion, however persistent. Einstein found proof that the universe is not what materialists claim it is, not a dead mechanism grinding through purposeless motion, but a living, mathematical order in which consciousness, meaning, and purpose are woven into the fabric of existence. He could not publish this. The scientific establishment was not ready. The religious establishment was not ready. Humanity was not ready. But perhaps now, 70 years later, some of us are ready. Perhaps that is why you found this video. Perhaps the information that was hidden is meant to resurface now for those who can receive it. The question you must answer. Before I share the final piece of Einstein's hidden proof, I have a request. If this teaching has opened something in you, if you sense that what I am revealing is true, consider supporting this channel through Super Thanks. This is not ordinary content. I'm sharing information that challenges powerful narratives, information that they have worked hard to keep hidden. Every time someone supports this channel, it sends a message that the truth matters more than comfortable illusions. Your support helps this message reach others who are ready to hear it, others who sense that the official story is incomplete, others who know, deep in their being, that the universe is more than random atoms in empty space. Click the Super Thanks button now, then stay for the final revelation. What Einstein found about the nature of consciousness itself. The final piece. Here is what Einstein discovered, that he could never publish, the piece that ties everything together. In his work on the unified field theory, Einstein realized that the equations only work if consciousness is included. Not consciousness as a byproduct of brain chemistry, but consciousness as a fundamental feature of mathematical reality. Think about it this way. Mathematics requires observation. An equation is not true or false until someone or something evaluates it. 2 plus 2 does not equal 4. In a universe where nothing observes that fact, the mathematics exists, but it exists in a potential state until consciousness actualizes it. Einstein understood that the same principle applies to physical reality. Quantum mechanics, which he helped found, showed that particles exist in superposition in all possible states simultaneously until they are observed. The act of observation collapses the probability wave into definite reality. What does the observing? Consciousness. This means that consciousness is not something the universe produced accidentally. Consciousness is required for the universe to be actual rather than merely potential. The mathematical order that Einstein found underlying reality is incomplete without an observer to actualize it. And here is the profound implication. If consciousness is fundamental to reality, and if reality is eternal mathematical truth, then consciousness is eternal too. You are not your body. You are the consciousness that observes through your body. That consciousness is part of the eternal mathematical fabric of existence. It was not created when you were born. It will not end when you die. Einstein believed this. His equations showed him this. His statements about Spinoza's God, about the cosmic religious feeling, about the distinction between past, present, and future being an illusion, all of these were attempts to express what he had discovered, without revealing it directly. The proof of God that Einstein found was not proof of a bearded man in the sky. It was proof that existence itself is conscious, mathematical, eternal, and necessary. It was proof that you are not separate from the divine order, but an essential expression of it. They did not want you to know this. They wanted you to believe you are accidents and in a meaningless universe. They wanted you to feel small, insignificant, mortal, because people who believe they are meaningless are easy to control. Einstein knew. Einstein found proof, and now, 70 years later, you know too. What you do with this knowledge The information I have shared today is not easy to accept. It contradicts almost everything you have been taught about reality, about science, about yourself. You have two choices. You can dismiss what I have said, call it speculation, return to the comfortable belief that you are a random accident in an indifferent universe. That choice is available to you. Many will take it. Or you can sit with what I have revealed. Test it against your own experience. Notice how the idea that consciousness is fundamental resonates with something deep inside you. Notice how the concept of eternal mathematical order feels true in a way that random materialism never did. Einstein spent 30 years on this. He was perhaps the greatest mind of the 20th century, and he concluded that the universe is the manifestation of eternal mathematical truths that can be called God. He hid this proof because the world was not ready. But you found this video, and that suggests something. Perhaps you are ready. Perhaps you are one of the ones who were meant to know. Comment below with your answer. Do you believe Einstein found proof of God and kept it hidden? Write hidden if you believe the proof exists. Write coincidence if you think it's all just speculation. I read every comment, and I respond to everyone who engages thoughtfully with this material. Einstein said that there are only two ways to live your life. One is as though nothing is a miracle. The other is as though everything is a miracle. He found proof that everything is a miracle, that the universe is divine mathematics made manifest, that you are an eternal consciousness, experiencing itself through a temporary form. The choice of how to live with that knowledge is yours. Until next time, keep seeking the truth. They don't want you to find. The legacy continues. There is one more thing you should know. Einstein was not alone in what he discovered. Throughout history, the greatest scientists have arrived at the same conclusion. Isaac Newton spent more time on biblical analysis and alchemy than on physics. He believed he was uncovering the mind of God through mathematics. Nikola Tesla spoke of the universe as a symphony of alternating currents that revealed divine intelligence. Max Planck, the father of quantum theory, said that science cannot solve the ultimate mystery of nature because we ourselves are part of the mystery we are trying to solve. These were not religious men in the traditional sense. They were scientists. They followed the evidence, and the evidence led them to the same place Einstein arrived. The mathematical structure of reality is not neutral. It is not indifferent. It contains within it the seeds of consciousness, of life, of meaning. The universe is not just a place where observers happen to exist. It is a place that seems designed for observers to exist. Einstein understood this more deeply than perhaps anyone before or since. His unified field theory was not just an attempt to unify physics. It was an attempt to understand the mathematical mind behind existence itself. And he succeeded, not completely. Not in a form that could be published in a scientific journal, but in a form that changed everything. He believed about reality, consciousness, and what we call God. The papers may be hidden. The equations may be classified. The full proof may never be released, but the truth is available to anyone willing to look. In the fine-tuning of physical constants, in the mathematical elegance of natural laws, in the strange role of consciousness in quantum mechanics, in the very fact that we exist. To ask these questions at all, Einstein found the proof. Now you have found the path to discovering it yourself. Subscribe to this channel for more revelations about what science has hidden from the public. Share this video with someone who deserves to know the truth. And remember what Einstein said: the most beautiful thing we can experience is the mysterious. It is the source of all true art and science. He to whom this emotion is a stranger, who can no longer pause to wonder and stand wrapped in awe, is as good as dead. Stay awake. Stay curious and never stop questioning. What they want you to believe,